Ooh, my goddamn garage, oh baby, now my goddamn garage. Where we going now? My goddamn garage. We find rocket ships, my goddamn garage. Going space travel, my goddamn garage. Oh baby, now goddamn garage. Go to save us now, my goddamn garage. Flying rocket ships.
The universe is a cold and unloving place. It does not care if humanity exists or not. Somehow we've managed to survive, thrive even, and show some possibilities of moving beyond this rock we happen to be tied to for the moment. But nothing escapes entropy, and our fate will be tied to the fate of the planet itself if we don't find a way to look outward. You see, humanity needs a goal, something to unite us and inspire us to look to the stars, and to look beyond ourselves. I love humans and our various cultures enough that for me, it would be a real shame if the universe lost all the literature, art, music, dance, philosophy, and everything that we've done here on this rock. So I would like to see us find a way to move out, spread ourselves out, just in case something happens to this planet. And something will happen eventually. That's inevitable. Possibly it could be us who ruins the planet's ability to host our species. We've shown ourselves to be capable of that. But it's not hard to imagine cosmological or natural geological reasons for our termination either. Volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, asteroids, evolutionary bottlenecks have happened before, and we don't know what's around the corner. So I want humanity to explore space and move forward. I'd like to see us find a way to not leave all of our eggs in one basket. I want us to look out and reach beyond our grasp. Now, current propulsion technology tells me that this is very much a long-term effort. These trips today, these are minuscule. These men are footnotes, but important footnotes nonetheless for both technological and less often considered psychological reasons. I mean, space exploration and interest in space is possibly the most optimistic interest you can have. I mean, what's more optimistic than believing that we are good enough, that we're worth preserving? And it's not just us, right? This could extend to everything on Earth. I don't know how you can show more love for us and the planet and what's on here than to think that it's worth preserving or saving in some kind of way by exploring space. So when people criticize Bezos, and look, I get it, right? The guy acts like a dick. He looks like a dick. His spaceship looks far more like a dick than any rocket I've ever seen, which is saying something because all rockets kind of look like dicks. He's not the easiest guy to like or defend, but you don't have to like or defend those aspects of him. We're talking about the space travel here specifically. So when I see people giving him a hard time for that, they'll disingenuously share that meme that shows a man trying to choose between pressing one of two buttons. One that says end world hunger and the other that says fly into space. As if there were only two choices with that much money and as if they were as easy as pressing a button. I don't see a clever point being brought up in that situation. I see a lack of vision. Obviously, I'd love for Bezos to treat his employees better, but I don't see why he can't do that and fly into space. The guy's got enough money. Amazon is profitable enough. And as far as world hunger is concerned, sure, he could give to other charitable ventures as well, and that's one of them that's possible. But the whole point of contrasting those two things, end world hunger and fly into space, it's working under the assumption that flying into space is the most trivial thing we can possibly do, as if interest in technology that allows us to go into space is completely unimportant to our existence here on this planet. Don't believe it. And what really seemed odd to me was the difference in response between China going into space and these entrepreneurs going into space, or corporations if you choose to see it that way. For some reason, publications like The Guardian would practically celebrate China's efforts and then denigrate the capitalist ventures for going into space. With barely a word about the falling debris from Chinese efforts, even though China has a larger GDP than Bezos. They're doing okay too. Why aren't they held to the same standard? Where's the meme of Winnie the Pooh and his two buttons with end world hunger and fly into space? When I was younger, I recall the press being much more favorable towards NASA and the West's efforts about as far as flying into space is concerned. But the second it turned over into corporate hands, there was a real loss of interest and much more skepticism. You know, the public used to support NASA. I remember that a lot as a kid. There was a lot of public media support for NASA and the notion of space exploration, not just as competition with the Soviet Union, but just in general. It was believed that this was a good thing to do. You know, and short of that public interest and then the government taking action as a result, I'll take these CEOs making it a pet project. At least that's something. It creates an industry that I'm hopeful for. The possible technological yields from an increase in activity as they collaborate with one another, the larger public conversation, the psychological impact on who we are, the united purpose that is possible. This all seems worthwhile to me. That spirit that makes us do these things, the spirit of adventure and exploration that can cause so much damage to us, is also what pushes us forward, that makes us be more than what we were before. That spirit of continually reaching out, of continually trying to do more, it's a big part of what pushes us forward. And I don't know that if I have it in me to celebrate Bezos per se. You know, as I said, he's a hard guy to like, and I have a bias against him that I can't quite shake for a number of other reasons. But I won't denigrate the one thing he's doing that I actually like, that I actually agree with. You know, it seems to me that flying into space, as I said, is like one of the most optimistic things we can possibly do. To believe in us as a species so much that you're willing to make that a priority, to consider that we are worth preserving, possibly even saving. I won't denigrate that. Still try to buy all my books at the used bookstore, though. Oh Lord, they're building them rockets, flying them up into space. Well, it's all just in fun till they're close to the sun and the wax melts all over the place. So then they just build up more rockets, and then they fill them all up with gas as they fly into space and will save the whole race, when really they're just saving their ass. If that's how you want it to be, if that's all you're able to see, if that's all we are, then hey, we won't get far, and maybe we should stay hungry. Lord, they're building them rockets, flying them up into space, and I hope they go far on to the next star and help us escape this cold fate.